Okay. I prepared my speech on this paper because you have to forgive me for my bad English. I speak bad and I read very bad English, but I will try to do my best. Okay, I will try. Usually I speak in Italian, and when someone invites me, they have to say twice, Giovanna, come please. But to stop me talking, they have to tell me 5 times, Giovanna, stop, Giovanna, stop. So, my name is Giovanna Graziano. I would like to thank Mrs. Kim Poole. I don't know if she's here.
She's there.
Are you? Hello, hello. To thank Mrs. Patrizia Sterpetti and all of you to invite me here and to listen to me. I'm Giovanna Graziano. I come from Somalia. My mother was Somali and my father Italian. And I'm the legal representative of this association called the CIS Ponte tra Popoli. It means CIS, Comunità Italo-Somala, Italian and Somali communities, bridge between people, bridge because we are from Somali mother and Italian father. And I'm also moral representative of a large number of Somali mothers with Western children. For diaspora, for about the last 30 years, Somalia is interested in a civil war. So Somali people living in all over the world, and many Somali mother has Western children. So they asked me to represent them in Italy and all over the world, even in Somalia.
Signora, scusi, potrebbe ogni tanto fare delle cose?
Ah sì, mi scusi.
No, non abbiamo
Un
tempo.
po'.
Non abbiamo tempo.
Un po'.
Ecco, ci provo.
Grazie.
Somali mothers that have been displaced from their African country. Our association is mainly concerned with the dissemination of the culture of these Somali mothers and the revision of erroneous historical narratives regarding the period of Madamato and Meticciato. Madamato and Meticciato is a time frame of Italian colonialism in Africa beginning from 1880 throughout 1940, resulting with children of mixed heritage. As we all know, over the past centuries, church has been fundamental for the socio-cultural evolution of the Western world. In fact, without the church, we would not have inherited the transcription and translation of ancient sacred texts, nor the spread of the alphabet resulting in the development of education, from which the knowledge of health regulation arose, the opening of hospitals and charitable works of social assistance. So this did the church in the Western country. As we all know, the list of benefits that the church has brought to the society certainly does not end here. As mentioned above, without the church today, the West could not be defined as the cradle of civilization. They used to say that they are the cradle of the civilization. But il merito. The merit is the church. While political institutions confer upon themselves the honor of protecting human rights, we must recognize that these values have been taught by Christian doctrine, which has inspired the very drafting of civil laws. And what about Africa? This is the first part introducing is a kind of 5 list of really what I would like to say, and then I will finish my speech with the second part. I'm not economist, I'm not political, but I'm observer. Since I was 9 years old, I've studied our story, and in our story, I found the colonialism, the European colonialism story in all Africa. Okay? What about Africa? Africa is a grandiose continent made up is we need to remind and to remember that Africa is made of 54 different countries. It's not only a country. Usually people say, where do you come from? Somalia. Where's Somalia? Somalia is in Africa. Oh, so you're African. Okay, I'm African. But you can't say you are African because in Africa, 54 different states inhabited by dozens of different ethnic groups and hundreds of tribes with a population of 1.4 billion speak approximately 2,000 different languages and almost 1,000 dialects. You know what means that? We don't know each other in Africa. Our problem is the tribe affairs. That's why we are not growing. Okay? And whereby each state has its own unique culture and customs. How is the church present in Africa? The answer is that the church has been present in Africa since the first of the centuries. Africa born like animals, okay? But the church was present there from the beginning, okay? All the people don't know this. They think we are still selvaggi. We have not savages. We don't have any religion inspiration. We don't know the religion. No, Africa. The Christianity is in Africa from the beginning, with its missionaries, and today the Christian church is also African, speaking most of the languages, and it's probably the only institution that has gained the trust of those countries held hostage by modern colonist foreign nations. What means that? That I'm from Somalia, surely maybe from Tanzania, someone is from Nigeria or Gambia. I don't know their customs, their cultural heritage. But the only institution which know our custom is the church. So today the church must develop our nations because the church developed Western countries. È un debito, come si dice, un debito. It's a debt. It's a debt. We know what happened during the Middle Age. All of us studied, okay? From Portugal, from USA, slave traffic. We know everything. So, communities and has long since been reconciled with them, gaining their trust and respect. Nowadays, the church is a vigilant and trust mediator assisting in negotiations amongst the conflict happening through the African continent. That's true. That's true. I believe that the name choice of the Holy Father Leo XIV is a sign of good omen in following the path that Pope Leo XIII initiated in sustaining the African people. and providing hope for the continuation of the tireless work already dedicated by elated Pope Francis in sustaining the African New Revolution. Yes, because I'm convinced that the future of the world is in Africa. This is the first speech. And I will finish. Sorry. Del meticciato. Però in inglese per me è difficile. Okay, Patrizia is inviting me to talk about our history. Why we have this association and we are fighting about our rights. During the fascism, you know, Mussolini, and he was an Italian dictator from 1920 until the finish of the Second War. Okay. He ordered racial laws, but the racial laws, all the people knows is about Jewish. People don't know the racial laws against us. The racial laws of Mussolini started 3 years before the Jewish racial laws against us. The racial Jewish law is dated 1940. Racial laws against us is dated 1937. There are many criminal things he wrote on his racial. He said we are monsters. Many scientists signed these racial laws. They said can exist a marriage between an Italian with a high racial Aryan race and I mean a marriage between an Italian and an indigenous, because the children will be monsters. We are the monsters. Till now, the fascism is finished in Italy. In the history books, children are learning from the 5th level till the university. It's still written that our mothers were prostitute, all our mothers, and we are monsters. So we are speaking and informing that is una bugia, is a liar, because in Somalia the main religion was the Islam, and they had their heritage, their customs, their law. No Somali woman could get married with a stranger without the
same culture, the same religion.
Exactly. So they were married in Somalia. They didn't need to get marriage in the church or in the council, because they follow their religion, their law. But Mussolini said, no can get married with a Somali or Eritrean or Libyan or all the colonialist states, and you keep that woman like your prostitute, personal prostitute. And they are still teaching this story. So we are telling the story, but our side, our truth, our mother truth. Okay, this is what we do. And I thank Patrizia for letting me explain this. And I would like to finish to explain you, before I completing, I would like to explain my speech. It appears as a list of titles. the speech. But it's an invitation to all those present to reflect and deepen the themes listed. Africa is not a single state, as I told you before. It's not a single state. In fact, the long-standing tribal conflict partly prevents Africa from growing. In Somalia, we have the same. In Somalia, we have the same. What African countries have in common is the aggressive exploitations of their resources by foreign countries. That's why all African countries need to sit and take an agreement for defend their properties, their resources, okay? No religion, no tribes. It's time to sit and work properly, okay? In a faith similar to us, mixed race people, everyone speaks in the name on behalf of Africa, but no one listens Africa. I met a lot of people. They know our story better than us. They go in the universities, write books, and tell in the TV, on media, our stories. But the only thing they are able to say is what they read on the books. They didn't interview our mother and us. And when we try to tell our story, our personal story, they say, you know, we need Fonti.
The information, the direct information.
Direct information. So, I'm not against Jewish, but in Italy knows only the Russian law against Jewish. And when Jewish go to the television, go to the university, schools, everywhere in assembly, they listen to the Jewish, oh, poor people, poor people, poor people. But they don't want to listen us. They don't want to listen us. That's why we are working for this. I'm finished, and I hope and I wish this meeting will be the first meeting of several meetings in future, several meetings in future, and I would like to see more representative of all the African countries here. It's not a Nigerian, Tanzanian, Kenyan affair. It's not only a religion affair. It's a life affair. It's African future affair. And it has to begin from African people to work for their future, because I can't see anymore. Okay, sorry. I told you when okay. Africa is extremely behind in economic, social growth and defense of its own interests. In a fact, similar, okay, it's what I wish to do is to declare Berlin Congress of 1985 a crime against Africa and create a permanent one to counter the one mentioned above. We need to create a permanent one to delete what they wrote on the Berlin Congress in 1985. Okay? Internal communication is necessary in African countries and everywhere in the world where they reside. Knowing helps to understand. It's necessary to create infrastructures for social and economic development. Education is necessary for all professional fields. Marine biologists and African agronomists and African marine biologists will save wealth of Africa. Okay, you can be lawyer, solicitor, political, engineer, everything, but Africa needs all this kind of studies. Numbers, statistics, and political arguments Do not stop the massacres and death in the North Africa desert and in the Mediterranean seas. Doesn't stop. Political numbers, states, chatting, doesn't stop. People are dying, okay? Africans must travel with a passport. It's very important, this, for our dignity, okay? And it is in this active action that we must all engage. Otherwise, Africa will always be a slave and an outcast. The church has overcome its dark history. As I told before, it was men of the church who stained themselves with crimes and not the word of God. Okay? In fact, we Italo-Somalis, we have been abused by men. We have been abused in college by men of the church. But we have also been saved by other men. Okay? Of the same institution, I mean the church. And this experience has strengthened us and led us towards a path of greater awareness and protections of weakest. I wish this Congress will be the first of many others. I wish to see agreement between African states to build Africa as she deserves. Thank you.